News broke about maybe an hour ago that the former Congressman Joe Walsh, who probably has a 5% name recognition, announced a presidential campaign. He became the second Republican to announce they're running against Trump in his reelection, or rather in the Republican primary. And the reason I'm so elated, or rather amused, is because I've said before that it's kind of stupid to run against Trump in the primary due to the fact that he has a over 90% approval rating with his own party. So basically anyone that runs is kind of already going into it as this ridiculously small, long shot. And I just it was funny because I used to openly question what would cause someone to try to destroy their political career by challenging the sitting president and them being so popular as they are. And then I realized that all the people who were listed as either potential challengers or people that maybe could do it. Basically, everyone who wants to do it is already out of office, so they all have the thing of I have nothing to lose. So I'm very amused by this. He has been in office for about 6 years, and you go and watch any of his stuff, and I'm actually going to play a segment. If I have any of his stuff I can use here, but in just looking at some of the material associated with him making this decision, it's all the same thing of, oh, we have a president that says this and he tweets and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So here's an interview Walsh did 2 days ago.
Holy shit, things red.
This nonsense. Yeah, that you just heard an ad, so I probably won't get sponsored, but they're gonna keep sticking these everywhere. All right, this was on CNN, and let's play it.
Happening now, the New York Times is reporting this morning that a new Republican could jump into the presidential race to challenge President Trump in the next few days. Joining us now is Joe Walsh, conservative radio host and former Republican congressman from Illinois. Joe, great to have you here. When you were on with us last week, you said you hadn't ruled out a run for the White House. The New York Times says now you might make up your mind in the next few days. How about right now? Are you challenging President Trump in the Republican primary?
Hey, John, it's good to be with you. I'm not avoiding your question, but before I answer your question, can I just get this out? I listened to your prior segment, and it was fascinating TV. But man, I think we overanalyze Trump. He's not complicated, John. He's a horrible human being. He's a bad, bad guy. And every single day, you, I, and everybody watching us right now is reminded of how damn unfit he is. And to what Jeffrey Toobin said earlier, John, that he's stunned and disappointed that no Republican has stepped up to call him out on his unfitness. Jeffrey's right. The Republican Party will always, always regret the fact that they did not call this man out. Somebody has to.
If you feel that way, are you running against him?
I'm strongly considering it. Again, I'm not trying to be cute or coy. I've told you before, if somebody's going to get in there and go after him, John, it's got to be done soon. You're running out of time. But more importantly, these are not conventional times. Look at the guy in the White House. These are urgent times. Somebody needs to make that case. I have yet to hear any potential Republican make that case.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you run at this point? Again, if you feel as strongly as you do, why not you?
I may. I just don't know yet, John. I don't know yet. But it's got to be done soon. And if I do it, I will do it soon. Look, I'm a former congressman. I've been on the radio around the country for the last 6 years. I'm an okay guy. There are bigger names than me. There are bigger former senators and members of Congress, but none of them have the courage to step up and challenge him. John, this is the time where somebody's got to be brave.
So you say no one has the courage to challenge him. Bill Kristol, who you've been talking to, formerly with the Standard. And by the way, you've hired political analysts. You're talking to people behind the scenes here for real. This is
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I can't stand Bill Kristol. That man is as worthless as any tree branch you might find outside of your house.
real consideration now. Bill
Yes.
Kristol, in this interview in the New York Times, makes clear that you're appealing to him basically because you're the kind of guy who can punch the president in the nose rhetorically. Why is that important, do you think?
Because Trump's a bully and he's a coward. And the only way you beat a bully and you beat a coward is to expose them, is to punch them. Donald Trump's been a con man his whole life. Again, for the life of me, John, I don't know why any other Republican can't say this. It's got nothing to do with the debt.
Because they're cowards. They want his supporters to vote for them, so they tuck their tail between their legs and do everything that go along with all of his stuff. Or sometimes what they'll do is they'll be like Rand Paul, where they won't say anything about like his various comments, but they'll actually vote against him a lot, and it just doesn't get any attention because the media doesn't care.
And the deficits, that's a concern. It's got nothing to do with his bad, horrible tariffs. They are bad and horrible. He is a bad man who, and we don't talk about this enough, John. Millions and millions of American children every single day in this country are learning, they're paying attention. They're learning that it's okay to lie and be a bully and be cruel. The only way you primary Donald Trump and beat him is to expose him for the con man he is. And if I did it, John, that's what I do. I'd punch him every single day.
You have called him a bad man, among other things. He is, in your words, a bad man that you voted for.
Yes, absolutely. So I found the religion. Look, you and I have talked. He lost me officially at Helsinki about a year and a half ago when he stood in front of the world and said, I'm with that guy, Putin, and not my own people. That was it. That was ugly. That was disloyal. But really, John, what's grown on me since 2016 is this troubling truth. Virtually every time he opens his mouth, he lies. I mean, we've never had that before. Look, I was in Congress with Obama and I called him out on a couple of doozies, but we've never had a president. And this is pretty scary. We've never been in a situation where every single time a president opened his mouth, it was a lie. I don't give a damn what your politics are. That's got to be called out.
Let me ask you this, because again, you're on.
Well, I do give a damn what your politics are, which is why I was actually laughing, and I don't know who came in here, but I was giggling because whenever someone runs for office, it should be for two reasons: for policy and to promote some idea that is separate from pre-existing candidates. This man has sat here for what is this? Almost 5 minutes. This interview is almost over, and not mentioned in his little "Trump is so mean" speech anything about policy at all, other than the tariffs. Like I'm just Tony. They have taken his rhetoric and ramped it up to times 11, and he's like, I left him alone after Helsinki. That's still rhetoric. Like, why do they care so much about what comes out of someone's mouth? Look at what they're doing. Whatever. Let's continue.
On conservative radio now. And you went after President Obama a lot in ways that you've now apologized for. Again, we'll stipulate you said he was a Muslim. You've apologized for that. Had President Obama gone out in the White House, the South Lawn, looked up at the sky and said, I am the chosen one, how would have 2015 Joe Walsh have treated that on the radio?
2015, Joe Walsh would have gone crazy. And John, more importantly, all of my listeners in conservative talk radio would have gone crazy. This, again, is what's so disappointing, the silence. Trump increases the deficits more than Obama, and yet all of my listeners and all of the Republicans stay silent. I've told you this before. The one good thing Donald Trump has done for me is he's taught me how absolutely ugly personal political hate is, because I engaged in that way.
What the hell does that even mean, personal political hate?
too much when I was in Congress. Trump has kind of shown us how bad it can be because that's what he always does.
I just want to make one thing clear. You said President Trump was a Muslim. I don't think accusing someone of being a Muslim is an insult. It just wasn't true. And
Absolutely.
It was used over a long period of time by people to attack the president for one reason or another.
Absolutely.
Joe, can you win?
Yes, because here's the bet, I think. And I think, by the way, John, don't trick me into saying, can I win? I think a good challenger can win. Again, John, only if they make the moral case. This guy's unfit. He lies every time he opens his mouth. If you're not going to say that, then don't even challenge Trump.
Is it worth running though, even if you can't win?
Yes, because this is a scary time. And if Republicans, John, stay silent in the face of this guy, I don't think the country will ever forgive the Republican Party. But forget about the Republican Party. If this guy gets 4 more years, we're in real trouble. It's worth doing anything you can do to try to stop that.
I got to let you go, but when are you going to decide by? What's the deadline date?
Labor Day's in what, a week? If you want to get in, you got to get in sometime within the next week or so.
All right, former Congressman Joe Walsh, thank you for coming on this morning, although not revealing your intentions, maybe leaning a little bit more toward. Is that safe to say this morning?
Safe to say. Good to be with you, John.
All right. Thanks, Congressman. Appreciate it.
All right, let me go down and look at these comments. Again, this interview was 3 days ago. So all this stuff about, I'm thinking of Labor Day. No, he got in way quicker than that. Let's see. This person says, I recognize I have horrible judgment. Should it be trusted as a judge of character, so make me president? It's hard to take the moral high ground, Joe, when you don't pay your child support. I don't know what that's about. Good luck, Joe. There's your 15 minutes of fame. LMFAO. Know this guy very well. He's trying to stay relevant. This guy doesn't even have a chance. You're joking, right? This person says, oh, Joe, you're such a doofus. Go away. You've had your 15 minutes and you blew it. Just go away before I sick Tammy Duckworth on you. So he's very popular, as you can see by those comments that were read over here. Oh, good luck. No chance in hell. Concerned with network he's on. One suspects he's a rhino. This person says he's very right. He is. I don't know why they're, like I said, what now counts as not being Republican or conservative is just any kind of slight amount of opposition to anything Trump does. And it's not even just what he does. It's like people who oppose the tweets are seen as rhinos now because they won't get in line and just blindly support the cult leader. See if I have anything else of this man to put up here. I had no idea prior to a few weeks ago that he even been out of Congress that long. I don't get how you even begin to think in your head. The president has a 90% approval rating with his own party. It makes so much sense for me to jump in. Like, I don't fathom how anyone can realistically look at that and conclude that it's that really there's anything to get out of this. But I will say that what's probably going to happen is he's going to do really, really poorly, but he's going to get a lot of name recognition and coverage from, being seen as one of the few Republicans to actually jump in. And then after this is over, he'll get a big spike in people that watch the little radio show. And, the thing about Sanford, the other one that's thinking of running, is that I can, at the very least, picture a scenario where he tries to do it again, like 4 years later. But with Walsh, I just don't understand. Like these people they're so bored and they have nothing to lose, so they do these things that aren't even feasible or realistic. Um, and then we're going to be able to watch and be entertained by his attempt at running for president. So this will be entertaining. Thank you for checking us out. I'm amused. He's a real piece of work. But before we close this out, I'm gonna go and show you a couple of the things he has said over, because he places a big emphasis on rhetoric. He called Stevie Wonder, after Wonder had taken a knee at at a contest in protest of what he termed police brutality, another ungrateful black multimillionaire. And he told Kimmel, "Your sad story doesn't obligate me or anyone else to pay for someone else's health care." After Kimmel discussed his son's congenital heart defect and that the pre existing conditions were an important part of healthcare in the US, or cited this as the reason for his belief. Let's see here. Let's see. He saw on November 8th, I'm voting for Trump. On November 9th, if Trump loses, I'm grabbing my musket. You win. And people said, he stated that this was him saying he wanted to protest, but it was interpreted by others as a sign of wanting to basically have violence because over some stupid candidate not winning an election. So this is a guy who also has weird stuff that he said in the past, and I'm only bringing it up because he is staking his whole campaign on, "I want to return normalcy and decency into the White House, and I don't like the bad things that are said by the current president." So have a good day.